Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another Merritt in the Morning. We've been gone for a little while, but we're back now. He is 30-year State Senator Jim Merritt.
He is president of the Greater Lawrence Chamber of Commerce.
I love being president of the Greater Lawrence Chamber of Commerce, Jim.
You're in charge.
I'm not in charge.
Everybody wants to be in charge.
But everybody has a boss.
Yes.
And I have several, and they're great people.
Yeah.
Jim, do you know that we are on episode number 62?
That is
Merritt in the Morning.
I can't believe you lasted. You know,
I can't believe it either. This is 30 or 61 more episodes than your last podcast.
So good to be here.
Yes. So we want to thank our sponsors, Stockyards Bank and Trust, locations at 71st and Binford, downtown Indianapolis, Carmel, Greenwood at County Line and Emerson. They are down in Center Grove. Plainfield, actually Josh is downtown, but they're in Plainfield on the west side. They got a new branch that's going to open up anytime now up on Michigan Road.
Yeah, it is gorgeous. 116th and Michigan Road.
I was by there about 3 weeks ago, and it's coming along
I
nice.
go by there all the time.
Oh, that's right. It's over by your house.
Yeah, not too far from your house. Yeah.
Paula! Thanks, Paula, for sponsoring. You're fantastic. Also, Jim, it's ham season.
It is. It is. And, you know, I had one for Thanksgiving.
You have one like
every
week.
I actually had two. I really like ham. I had two, and because we hosted both families, and so everybody knows how much I love that. I love Honey Baked Ham. So and they're a wonderful sponsor.
They are. So thank you, Honey Baked Ham, for being sponsors. They've got locations in Carmel at 141st and Greyhound Pass, right there in front of Menards. If you go to Menards, you see them across.
It's the north of 146th Street. So
is it 146? Okay, you're right. You're right. 146. They also have one at 96 and Michigan Road. And producer Josh, can you help me? What is their special through the end of the year? It's if you buy like 30 hams.
If you buy 500 gift cards, you get another one, a $50 gift card for free.
So $500 in gift cards, you get $50 for free. That's a heck of a deal.
You know, I walked in there the other day to have lunch by myself, but it's just me and my ham. And the guy behind the counter was a part of your home sale that down in Irvington.
Did he buy it?
No, he knew all about it. Your home down in Irvington, and don't he's gonna watch this. So,
I think I know. So Mike Kalb, who owns the Honey Baked Ham Company, had a manager who was interested in that house at one time. So I think that's how it is.
That's exactly.
I was worried I had a stalker. So
one of many, right?
Yes, exactly. Because this show, we have millions and millions of viewers. Us and Joe Rogan. I mean, we were big 1 and 2.
Yeah, let's just hope Sheila watches it.
Yes, exactly. All right, you know, we actually have a guest today.
Yes, we do. And it's kind of rude that we're ignoring.
No, that's okay.
Let's ask her.
Forgive us. Is it okay? So our guest today, Indiana Comptroller Elise Nieshalla.
Yes.
Welcome to Lawrence.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you for all the good waking up humor today. I have a front row seat to some good.
That was it. That was all the humor.
I got something you don't.
You have a lot of things I don't. But
Is that just a beautiful family?
I did get one of those.
Oh! It's just wonderful.
It is a beautiful family.
Oh my gosh. It's just
I remember when that came, my wife's like, who's Elise Nieshalla?
Yeah. Yes. Happy holidays.
So, Jim, after the show, I got to tell you stories about the GOP Christmas party last night.
Okay.
So, all right. So, back to you.
Yes.
What was your serpentine route from being a wee little tot to now being the comptroller? This could hopefully Elise will take up the rest of the show, and then we'll just be done.
Well, you know, I had a set of great parents. How about that? Nope.
Well, we don't have a very good son, but you've got great parents.
Actually, I'm just going to lay this down.
I love this, the ketchup bottle that's propped up against.
We normally have a stand, and the stand
Red Gold is a Hoosier company.
They need to sponsor us.
Maybe we'll.
Actually, we're not giving them any free love. Red Gold, you want to sponsor this? You talk to us. All right, we're going to lay that down.
Yeah.
It's Red Gold can go over here. Okay, so.
Yes, great parents who really instilled in me that I've got a job as an up-and-coming citizen of Indiana and the great country of America to do my part, and they certainly did their part. My mom served as a state representative with you, Jim, and I know how much you were a senator. Excuse me. She was a representative.
Yeah.
But I know how much she enjoyed working with you.
We did. We enjoyed a lot of.
I've already got follow-up questions. One, who's your mom?
Oh, Cindy Noe.
No kidding.
Yes.
Okay, go on.
You get a Christmas card, but you don't even know who her mom is?
No, I don't stalk her family like you do.
She is a great mom.
Oh, yes, she absolutely is a great mom. And I had, again, just a very up close and personal view of her life, raising me as her daughter, and then taking the conservative principles and values that she treasured, that she taught me, and then translating that into public service. I saw a real continuity there, and she's just always been an inspiration to me.
And you've had a lot of inspirations in life. Our mutual friend, Mary Martin, thinks you hang the moon.
Oh, well, she does. Right back at her.
You've had a lot of people around you supporting you and having such a beautiful family. And several years ago, Senator Jim Buck, he and his wife Judy had an annual garden party. Well, the Bucks had done it for decades, and they were wonderful people. But I think they had kind of enjoyed as much as they could of hosting a party for 500 people or so, and you and your husband and your family took that over, and there are so many things that we need to fit into 30 minutes of your whole family being a part of the run to get delegates in the convention of years ago, but sticking with politics and becoming the comptroller by being appointed by Governor Holcomb. There are just so many things to talk about, but we want to hear about what a comptroller does, number one, but two, you seem to be everywhere in politics, all over the state, and that is wearing, but it just seems like that beautiful home out in the Zionsville, Boone County area is probably your safe place, your wonderful place. It's a beautiful home, and I want to give you the floor and really to kind of talk about you and your family and your job.
Well, thank you. Family is our hearts, right? It's what grounds us, and it's those relationships that, as long as those relationships are going well, right? Like, we can get up and smile and go into the day. And I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my husband. When I first was asked to consider running for public office, certainly Chris, that's his name, Chris and I prayed about it. And when he came back to me and said, honey, I'll start doing the grocery shopping. I thought,
that's a good husband right
here
there.
we go.
Fabulous.
Yeah, he is all in.
What a great start.
And of course, he does it with a great sense of efficiency. He pulls out his phone and orders it all online, and it's delivered to our doorstep. So quite an improvement from me when I would go out to the store. But, he really is a rock for me, for our family. And then, our kids, when they were growing up, we were doing parades with my mom and helping her going door to door. So they had grown up understanding what it means to reach out and to connect with constituents. And God bless them. They've just been there all the way with us. In fact, at the Lincoln Lawn Party, which you're all welcome to come to, by the way, in August, they just get right in there with us and lead us in harmony, singing the national anthem and another song of their choice. And we really have a good time as a family hosting our guests.
Party. Yeah, it's a wonderful party.
So, follow. So, you obviously grew up in politics. Jim kind of grew up in politics. There seems to be something to it, and then obviously your daughters apparently have taken to it, or at least they enjoy what you do. Do they have an interest?
I would call them very civically minded.
Mm-hmm.
And they, as well as our sons who are both at Purdue as students right now, they both get it that freedom isn't free and that it is coming upon their shoulders the burden to carry on and to keep the legacy of freedom and opportunity strong. So we've, again, tried to pass on, that sense of duty,
Mhm.
and also the sense of joy, right? Like we have been given such a gift here in our country and in Indiana, and I'd love to share with you more about how good it is to be a Hoosier. But they get it, and I appreciate them having their oars in the water with us.
Now, tell us about what the comptroller actually does. And I want to get on. You have a deep interest in. I think we all should be interested in our overwhelming debt in our country. We know we have a constitution which disallows the state of Indiana to have debt. You know, you have bonds and whatnot, but you cannot run a deficit in the state of Indiana. But actually tell our audience what a state comptroller does, because at one time it was a state auditor, but the legislature in their wisdom changed it, which is more probably definitive of what you do. What does a comptroller do?
Certainly. So we handle the accounting and the reporting of the state's money. So about $52 billion worth of state revenues and federal dollars that come into the state of Indiana that it is our responsibility to give an account for. We also handle the payroll for the state of Indiana, you know, over 30,000 employees. We pay all of the state's bills. And then also we distribute the taxes that are collected by the Department of Revenue and get those funds out to the local units. So, you know, your counties, your cities, your towns, your school districts, all that money, we make sure to get it out so that it can be put to good work for Hoosiers. Mm-hmm. And then also we manage the Indiana Transparency Portal. So that puts the financial information for the state of Indiana at the fingertips of Hoosiers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's a novel idea to be transparent.
Oh, indeed.
That? It doesn't always happen.
Yeah. Question.
So, yes. So, of the statewide officials, obviously, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in politics right now. You have managed to keep yourself at arm's length, but yet still be visible and be out and about. How do you tread that fine line?
Well, I just have my eye on the ball. I understand what the duties are of my office, and we just focus on. I mean, these are some serious duties.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
So
pay the
we
bills.
have plenty to keep us busy.
Of course.
Mind
We
you.
can't go into deficits. You got to pay the bills and make sure everything is tip top.
That's right. And, you know, Senator Merritt, I'm still going to call you that. You have my greatest gratitude. You and the legislature, who back in 2018 made sure that we passed a balanced budget amendment, and it's part of our state constitution, and everybody across the state voted for it, and that has set us up to be in such a strong financial position. We have not always enjoyed what we enjoy today with being the fourth lowest debt per capita state in the nation. We have healthy cash reserves, of course, a balanced budget, a AAA credit rating, and well-funded pensions. But for you and for your viewers, you probably remember back 20 plus years ago, we were in a great amount of debt. And you know how much we had in cash reserves in the fiscal year of 2002?
I remember those days, and it wasn't much. It was like $13.
It was.
You're close.
Yeah,
it was 6 cents.
Yeah.
And that's only because we had deferred payments to schools to the next month to get off the fiscal year.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. Deferring.
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And, you know, and back in the early 90s, in 1991, we brought riverboats in because we didn't have any money. And so, yes, I didn't know it was that little, but that is astounding.
It is. And to see where we are now with $2.5 billion in reserves, that's 11% of our state revenues, which gets us in that optimal range between 10 and 15%.
No states really do that, or few.
And it is why we have earned a AAA credit rating from the three major rating agencies. And we have to give hats off to Mitch Daniels, right?
Yeah, yes, Mitch did a terrific job in that 8 years of office. No question about it.
Yes.
Yeah. But we've kept it.
We have.
It's a possibility that we wouldn't have, and the legislature and the governors that have succeeded Mitch did it. But in the 90s, it was the OK Corral. I mean, you know, Dodge City, you just didn't know what you were doing, and they were closing Fort Benjamin Harrison, and you know, unemployment and everything. That was building one was the pay center. I mean, it was we didn't know what to do, and this was a big cost, tax producing center, and so yes, and so you've been. I've always admired you for. I admire your mom, but there's no but, and yet you're speaking out nationally, and I'm really proud of all of our Hoosiers, from the U.S. Senate to our members of Congress to Dan Elliott has spoken about funding local government in a time of strife with property taxes and the elimination of monies for local government. And I've read great things you've said on the national scale about that debt bomb we've got coming.
Yes.
And would you kind of educate Klopp and me and our audience on how you feel about this and where are we going?
So as a mom of 4, this issue has weighed heavily on my shoulders for quite some time, as I'm sure it weighs on yours and on your viewers. This is, as you mentioned, a ticking time bomb. We're at $38 trillion of debt. So the interest payment alone on that debt is greater than the annual budget for the United States military. And it's greater than the annual budget for Medicare. It is the fastest growing line item in the federal budget. And it's on the trajectory to eclipse our largest line item,
Mm-hmm.
which is that of Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
And this is terribly frightening. Gary Varvel, our Hoosier
Yeah,
friend, I'm
course.
sure many of your
Mhm.
viewers
Yeah. Mhm.
are fans of his. He has a cartoon that I love and I hate all in the same vein. It's a picture that he's drawn of a mom and dad at the hospital. They've just given birth to their firstborn child.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor holds up the baby and says, we don't have to spank our babies to get them to cry anymore. We just have to tell them how much of the federal debt rests on their tiny shoulders. Wow.
There, I can see the love and the fear
Yes.
in that, and that's a scary proposition.
So, based on your experience, and this is now morphing into federal questions,
Mhm.
is there any possible way the Fed could just say, "All right, we are no longer going to incur debt, even if we just have a balanced budget, and then we pay down our debt that we have over the course of the next 30 years"? Is there any way that could possibly happen?
So I've been told in leading this effort that it's foolhardy, but my response is we must. So when I was so fortunate to receive the governor's appointment to serve as a leading financial officer for our state, I knew that the time had come. I was passing by the feeling of helplessness to do anything on this. And this was an open door to say, okay, can we not come together as states' financial officers who I believe we could have a very poignant voice on this issue,
Mm-hmm.
to say it is time to restore America's financial solvency.
Mm-hmm.
And again, yes, to speak from the states, most states have balanced budget amendments.
Mm-hmm.
And a state like ours that has worked so hard and so diligently to right our ship, what makes us most vulnerable as a state is not anything internal. It's the vulnerability of the debt problem at the federal level. And that threat of bankruptcy looming out someday in our future, which is a painful, painful thought that would bring not just a day of reckoning, but an age of reckoning. And that's why we fight so hard to be proactive. Well, if we were proactive, we would have dealt with this back in Reagan's day when we hit our first $1 trillion.
You're trying to install proactivity.
Yes. Before we reach that time of pain that is just pain beyond what we have endured here. I like to liken it to our debt to GDP ratio
Mm-hmm.
has only been as high as it is now once before. It's at over 120%.
Mm-hmm.
And that was after World War II, when we had the defeat of tyranny to show for it.
Mm.
And right now, all we have to show for this massive amount of debt is a pandemic far in the rearview mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time to come together with that Rosie the Riveter spirit back then to say, can you just picture her with her arm raised up, right? Like, we can do this.
Yeah.
And we must come together to deal with the debt. And to speak in President Trump's terms, it's time to make America's finances great again.
You can maybe do something about that. Hold that thought. I have
Plan
some
on
follow-up questions. You were watching episode number 62 of Merritt in the Morning.
Well, hopefully it's going to be 63.
Next one. Yeah, we have to schedule it. So I have Santa Claus on the next one. So we want to thank our sponsors, the Honey Baked Ham Company, locations at 96 in Michigan, Greyhound Pass in Carmel. As producer Josh reminded us, buy $500 in gift cards. That's a lot of ham.
Yeah.
I'm doing the math.
Yeah.
The comptroller could probably tell us how many hams
they've got
that is,
sides. They've got. Oh, one thing that I saw in the cabinet is sweet potato pie. It looked.
They have a bunch of pies.
Oh yeah.
So you get $50 in free gift cards if you buy 500. And you were just there. They've got this giant tractor trailer that's sitting outside of the store full of hams for the holiday season because the store's not big enough. I love it.
Yeah.
So also want to thank Stockyards Bank and Trust, location 71st in Binford, downtown Indianapolis, Plainfield, Carmel, Greenwood, Center Grove, coming to Zionsville, and I think Whitestown after that.
This is always a challenge for him to remember it all.
We used to have a screen, and they were all listed. So now I have to do this off the top of my head, and I sometimes get it right.
Yeah.
So back to the State Comptroller Elise Nieshalla. Thank you very much for being our guest. So you mentioned the other states. I assume that there is a national conference where all the comptrollers and auditors get together, and you talk about issues facing your industry that are unique to the job that you have. What is that discussion amongst your peers on, okay, our states are sound financially, but those guys in Washington are not?
Well, that discussion was not being had, as I came to find out. And so I reached out to our association and I said, we need to start a national debt crisis task force. And I pitched them on that and laid out a plan. And I said, I think the first order of business would be to send a letter to President Trump and to every member of Congress, letting them know that state financial officers understand the severity of the debt problem and the malpractice of deficit spending. And then we need to ask of them 3 things. Number 1, just spend less next fiscal year than you did in the one prior.
I'd be happy if you just held the line.
Yes. Start turning the ship, right?
Yeah.
And then number 2, get us back to a balanced budget as soon as possible. Do you know the last time when we had a balanced budget for the United States?
Clinton.
Clinton, yeah, it was in the 90s.
And Speaker Gingrich.
I was just about to say that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got to get back there. It's absolutely critical. And then 3, come up with a meaningful plan of debt reduction. Show the American people where we could be in 2035, 45, 55, in getting our fiscal house in order.
Mm-hmm.
And you do that by growing your way. You cut, yes, you cut. And all those Doge cuts, we need to go back. They need to go back and make sure that they're put into law.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't only cut your way, although that is a big portion of it. You've got to grow your way out of this problem to get that, again, debt to GDP ratio down to a manageable level. So rolling back regulation, unlocking our country's vast and rich amounts of natural resources and minerals. And so that's what we see as the path forward.
Well, we spent a lot of money with COVID and the aftermath of COVID. And when you study this issue with your fellow leaders from around the country, are we there yet where we're discontinuing that flush of money into and what time it was necessary, but not so right now. And have we gotten rid of those COVID area expenditures?
Well, I tell you what, in the state of Indiana's financial report, it shows, of course, the funds that we receive from the federal government. And this is one message that I've been sharing with our legislature, as well as with Hoosiers across the state. The amount of money that we were receiving from the federal government prior to COVID was between $12 and $14 billion annually. COVID came and it shot up to 26.4. And then it has remained at an elevated level between
it has remained.
22 and $24 billion annually. And that's what we need everybody's attention on, because that's absolutely unsustainable. And every dollar that's coming to the state of Indiana is borrowed by our federal government. So to have our eyes wide open to this is not sustainable, and how do we prepare with a runway of foresight to those funds perhaps decreasing once the federal government really comes to terms with the financial straits that they're in.
Well, you mentioned that you distribute money to local governments, and obviously there was an influx of cash that came in the last, we'll say, 5 years, whether that be COVID relief funds, or obviously when housing prices shot up, that also means the property tax collection shot up, and then the amount of money coming to local government shot up. And my impression is that schools, municipal governments, township governments all really enjoyed the influx of money, but now they...
Almost like a windfall.
Yeah, a windfall. But now I'm sure that they're screaming at you saying, oh, we can't live with any less. It's like, well, you did 3 years ago.
Well, I served on the Boone County Council for 7 years, and I remember the day that we heard the news that we were going to be receiving $13 million from the federal government. I could not believe it. I'm like, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
Like, no, and you need to receive it. You need to do something with it.
Yeah.
Because we were thinking, we don't need it, the debt needs it more than we need it. But there was no mechanism to give it back. So I understand what local governments are going through because we've lived it. And now really with leaner times right now, but also with this discussion of what's happening at the federal level and how that's going to affect us in the years and decades to come as we can project it. It is a time for some solemn thinking and, looking at how we can get the most that we can out of the money that we have and how to, it's not easy. And I am there with those local units of government in speaking all the time with county auditors, right? Because we have a real partnership in this distribution and with treasurers and clerk treasurers of the cities and towns. And speaking about Senate Bill 1, certainly I've heard a great deal of feedback on that.
I'm sure. And it's fierce feedback in lots of regards.
And, the neat thing is, though, is we offered to Governor Braun and to Senate and House leadership the feedback that we were receiving, sort of unofficial notes from out there, right?
Yeah.
Would you like to hear what we're hearing? And they all said, absolutely. And, with the great amount of changes that came with Senate Bill 1, I think the wisdom in it is that the changes are largely not set to be enacted until 27 and 28. So they gave themselves this next legislative session that we're now in to make tweaks, to deal with certain pain points that have
and they need twacks.
Tweaks and twacks.
But they will do it. Campbell Ritchie, who is with the State Chamber of Commerce, spoke to his what do you call your luncheon?
The Chew on This luncheon.
Chew on This luncheon.
Sponsored by Keystone Group.
Yes, and Ursula is wonderful. And Campbell Ritchie explained it so very well and exactly what he believes that the legislature needs to do. His wife is Krista Rivera Ritchie, and she is the Senate analyst, financial analyst, and you can just wonder what their dinners are like.
Oh, yes.
But the bottom line here is that this session of legislature is coming in 26 is going to be short but invaluable for the emergencies, which it was designed for 50 years ago. And the emergency is to give breathing room, to give a voice to the locals in their experience, and to refine what they did with Senate Bill 1. And it's just imperative they do that.
So I wonder this year, I'm hearing from more and more people that Senate Bill 1 actually made things worse. Is there going to be a fix this year or just an undoing?
No, I think it'll be a fix. There'll be reality is spoken. And we're all, she and I are Republicans, and I'm not going to criticize Travis Holdman, the author of the bill, Senate Bill 1, but they wrote it on the run. The legislature really wanted to eliminate income taxes, and they have been working on that for 3 or 4 years. And then they kind of shifted with the last campaign in 2024. And as I say, you've got to get in front of a posse to and make it look like a parade.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Senate Bill 1 was. So there are a lot of times when you have landmark legislation in the Indiana General Assembly and the follow-up the next year, that you fix it, you hone it, and you manage it. And that's what the 26th election, I've said with this session they're having right now, that they could have a couple bills to do this and not come back in 26.
Yeah.
Because that's how valuable this is. They have to do it very, very quickly. And but that's not talking about the comptroller, but it's talking about money, which you're everything about money.
Yes.
And we just have a couple minutes left. I'm kind of curious about the political end. You have an election coming. You were appointed. This will be your first re-election. You're everywhere. You talk to so many people. Becky Skillman told me once that she was out 13 nights in a row as lieutenant governor. And every time I open Facebook, you're meeting with somebody. I mean, you're a great public servant. And if you could tell our folks, what are the three things you're hearing? And when the convention comes and re-election or election comes next November, what do you expect in 26?
Well, it is an absolute privilege to campaign. I really love it because it's all about building relationships. And when you're in campaign season, it just gives you an extra open door.
That was my favorite thing about running statewide.
Yes.
Was just getting out into, you hit all night.
He knows all the little towns.
Oh, I do. I love it. I mean, I would go there anyhow. But when I was campaigning, it was like, all right, first thing I'm going to do is hit all 92 counties because I want to see all these places.
Yeah.
Find out who has the best tender.
And Governor Braun's done a really good job with that. As U.S. Senator, and he just completed his 92 counties. I mean, he is out and about.
He sure is. From lake to shining river. It is a great state, and truly to have the privilege to connect with so many who care deeply about this state being a beacon of freedom and opportunity, and making sure that we preserve that for our children and our children's children. And certainly the financial side of that is paramount. And, we share a common goal of making sure that Indiana stays in a rock solid financial position. And then, boy, oh boy, can I just tell you what, when I was thinking about, okay, what is the rallying cry for my campaign here in 26? And given the fact that we've done the hard work to be a model of fiscal responsibility in Indiana, and that the federal government is struggling under this massive, monumental burden of debt, the rallying cry, and this is tipping my hat to President Trump, compliments come and when you take an idea from someone else and you run with it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
done plenty of that myself.
Our rallying cry is "Make America like Indiana." And we even have a hat. I should have brought one for each of you this morning. It's just like the MAGA hat, but it's
America,
in
Indiana
state colors, blue with gold lettering, in the same font as "Make America Great Again." Make America like Indiana.
That's wonderful.
I like that.
Elise she is right there with our slogan.
This is our slogan.
Oh,
actually,
work hard and be nice.
Work hard and be nice.
That fits Elise.
It does.
It does.
It does. It's tremendous. You've been a wonderful guest.
Oh, this has been just pure fun.
Thank you. Welcome to Lawrence. Welcome, beautiful Cafe Audrey.
Yes. Which is a very busy, noisy place today.
It's not usually like this. I'm not sure how much of that made it.
But it's a very popular restaurant.
Is. So actually, this building we're in used to be part of the fort. I believe that this was the blacksmith shop. Hence the reason that we have the horseshoes there, because cavalry was a big deal in 1905, and there were mule barns, and they had to be shoed. So that's where we are. So thank you, Cafe Audrey, for hosting of our.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, thank you, Josh Gillespie, the guy behind the camera, who you rarely hear from and never see.
But this is why we're so professional. It
is. So yes, thank you. Again, thanks to our sponsors, the Honey Baked Ham Company, locations at 96 in Michigan, Greyhound Pass, and Carmel. Make sure you get your Christmas hams and pies and sides. They will hook you up. I think if you just tell them how many people you have.
Mustard.
By the case. And the last time we were there, Mike Kalb gave us some honey mustard that they don't sell anymore. That was what was it? Oh, it was the name of the old company.
Yeah.
But yeah, they still had a little bit of that. It was very popular in my household. Also, thank you to Stockyards Bank and Trust. Locations all over central Indiana and Louisville and Kentucky. And
You cheated.
Even one of that. We struggle so much, and we've given Paula a lot of love on this show. I could skip over each individual
Josh,
location.
where are they?
They're at Binford, Carmel, downtown, Plainfield, Greenwood, Center Grove, and coming soon to Whitesville/Zionsville.
Oh,
Very good, Josh. I love it. So, Comptroller Nieshalla, we appreciate you coming in and joining us. This has been fabulous.
Thank you. It's been true joy.
All right. Thank you all for watching. We'll catch you next time.
1